Yes. Hello Mario, how are you brother? कैसे हो उमेश यार? Ah, hey guys, so yesterday I was targeting 706. You remember this point? So one thing which is really good, what happened yesterday that we never really tagged 706. Okay, the reason why it is a good thing because this 706 is still valid. Okay, the market will try to reach towards this point. I'll tell you the reason why. Okay, it is where is it? See this point. This is an hourly candle. Mario, this is an hourly candle on 27th of December, 8 o'clock. This is an hourly candle which is wickless. So generally, as I'm expecting the market to move up, I'm looking for these sorts of inefficiencies, as if you may. So I'm looking for these sorts of inefficiencies. So the market never reached. It came very close to this seven. It came even to 703. And I mentioned it yesterday that the market will always make it really difficult when it is reaching towards a point. It will make sure that it generates some sort of a liquidity, then run that liquidity out. Okay. So this was the criteria when I left yesterday. Me just make a clear narrative. Okay. So 706 was the yesterday's target and it's still valid, completely valid. Okay. So this is the point where I left yesterday. I said, care once if we, this was the point, right? I said, care if we move up and use this as support, then we are relatively safe. Okay. If we lose this point, the next area of interest would be this box. Okay. So when we reach this point, it never gave us any sort of strength. It moved like like through it, to it, and through it. Okay. Moved it, then it came back at night, retested this point again, retest this point again, okay, which I mentioned yesterday. The whole idea of these boxes are, okay, once the price secures this point and move up and use this as support. That's the whole criteria or the narrative. Okay, so I'm going to close this now. And so, just so you know, we have about 35 minutes till the news will come out. We have 35 minutes till the news comes out. So, we are breaking this structure as for now, which is a very obvious, prominent, and obvious structure. You see this point? The same contraction which I showed you on the yesterday's chart. Mm-mm. See this point? This is really symmetrical. And what is probably going to happen? I'm not still not looking for any sorts of shorts. I'm just looking for longs. Okay, but I'm not willing to go long right here. I'll wait for the news to come out. It's going to break this symmetry somehow. It's going to break this symmetry and skew the risk to reward. Then I'll enter and aim towards 706. Okay, so there's a correlation between two concepts. One is this concept which you guys probably understand. This you if you have 4 hours time frame, mark a fair value gap on this time frame. Now the fair value gap becomes relevant because it is with confluence with other things. Okay, so mark a fair value gap at this point, the 4 hours time frame, the fair value gap on 2 a.m. 6th January Monday. Mark this fair value gap. But I'm generally thinking in the back of my head, I'm gonna be very transparent with you. I'm generally thinking that we are going to do some sort of a range around this point. As you can see, closed above, closed below, closed above on a 4 hours time frame. So what it is telling me that it is going to continue this behavior, some sort of this behavior, move below this candle's low, 6th January's candle low, somehow enter into this fair value gap, then I'm gonna take a swing trade. This is the narrative for the swing trading. Okay. If I want to take a scalp or any sort of a short-term trades, I'll let you know in the smaller time frame. But as generally, I'm targeting this point, not going short. I'm not going short at all. I'm just looking for the price to reach at this point somehow. One thing. Just wait a minute. Okay. The fair value gap. I'm gonna be specific. Ideally, the fair value gap, lower portion of the fair value is more important, or the middle point. You see this point, okay? Why am I looking for this specific area? Because relative to this assumed risk, the assumed risk on this trade would be 40 to 48 points maximum amount of risk. The reward would be around, if this pans out, okay, it's not an ideal world, but reward would be around 400 points. So 1 to 10 is to reward ratio. If it works out, okay. So just keep this in mind as a higher time frame narrative. Then I'm gonna go to the smaller time frame and we are going to navigate. This happened. Okay, let's check the QQQs. Okay, the QQQs. Yesterday I really mentioned about this point. I said, Care, this overall, you see this opening range gap. This gap is going to be really relevant for next 2 or 3 days. And it's going to. Exactly, Mario. I'm just mapping different concepts together. I'm going to tell you a lot of things, okay? So, why I was telling you this specific gap is important because it has a lot of different confluences. So as I basically when I generally draw some sort of a range, I'm not looking at that range as an isolated thing. There are a lot of different confluences with that specific range. If I'm talking about, yeah, that range is relevant, that range is relevant, and okay, so market is open. We have 30 minutes till the news will come out. This overall gap is really important for the swing trade. Not you can take a small term scalp, but that won't be worth it because you can still hold the trade for long. Okay. So we're going to draw the opening range gap. At this point, the opening range gap, as usual, the color would be the same within 13 to 18 percentage. First candle. Mario, one more thing. See this point. Yesterday, it made sure on a 4 hours, you can say 4 hours, it made sure that it shows everyone that it is closing above the structure high. Okay. So it's too clean. Yes, I am still bullish. I'm expecting the market to move up. Okay. So, but how will it move up? It all depends on after the news. After the news, it can rebalance, no problem, because we are not further away. We are just 16 points from yesterday's close. So it's not that much. I'm going to remove this drawing. This makes a lot of different mess. I don't want messy chart. 524, 524, 570, 524.08, 24.08, 523.71. See what's going on in gold. Um, This blue line was also given by in on 27. Worked out pretty fucking good. Okay, we are very close to filling the whole gap. Very close. This candle is imbalanced. 36 1. Generally, this area is relatively interesting. I'm waiting for the news if I was to not wait for the news. This was really interesting to me. Yeah, bro. I'm here for like a year and a half now. This area is really interesting to me. Keep this in mind. This is a QQQ's 1 minute time frame. And the area I'm generally looking for, I'm not trading this. I'm just waiting for the news. But this is an area which I would be interested if the news were not ahead of us. So, okay, this area is interesting. And this, if we use this as support, if we move above this point and use this as support, that would be really, that would be generally the basic thing. Back into the opening range gap. Now come back. What about BTC? यार मैं BTC का बताता हूँ डायरेक्ट ठहर जा एक मिनट. BTC यार करीब है पता है. हाँ BTC is really at a nice place. A really nice place. Hello Eric, how are you brother? Uh, Moise, Moise, मुझे तुम पहले first you tell me that you have executed on the oil trade I told you about yesterday. 102.35, 102.35 to 35. Let's just say 30 and 407, 407. Okay. This area is important and this can give a extremely good risk to reward ratio. Really good risk to reward ratio. But be careful, it's gonna chop around for some time, then leave. It's not gonna make it easy. So you see this symmetry I was talking about, Mario? It's exact same symmetry. It's going to destroy this symmetry and it's gonna somehow look like, just say, for example, this is a low, this is a low, and this is a low. Okay, it's a steep lows, right? It's gonna make this some this first low somehow, then it's gonna make another low, probably the last time, then something like this, something like this. This is what I'm thinking. If it works out or if it validates the narrative, what I'm thinking, right? So overall, the thing what is important is this 50% of the this gap, the fair value gap, 50% of and lower portion, whole row lower portion. If we move below this point and close on a 4 hours, then just just bot plan abort. retrieve. Okay. US oil. US oil. US oil. Moise, this was the narrative. I think this was the narrative. You remember this point? This was the buying zone. Okay. If you would have missed on this, you could have entered here. So 1st 15 minutes is about to close in 3 minutes. 15 minutes we have you say we have news in 15 minutes. 15 something like. Okay, this got validated at this point. I'm not executing because we have news. So if we regain this territory, then this can support price. That's all I can say. This can support price, and the price should not get rejected from this point and use this as support and move further up if it wants to move up. The candle I'm referring to is 9:35 candle, 1 minute on a 1 minute high. 15 minutes is about to close in 1 minute, and this surprise, surprise, 9:43 candle is telling me that it's going to come back. So it's not invalidating my whole narrative for the news. Amos, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing my perspective and my narrative. So I'm not telling you to do anything. Do not forget it. Okay. Ideally, the price should stay above this point, or you can say the high of this. This is an ideal case. I'm first telling you I'm not executing on this. Even if it moves up, I don't care. I'm only interested in the price when the price comes to my point. You can still read it because if I somehow execute on this trade, the 943 is a big trade, big herd. It's gonna come back. So I have to close the trade within 5 minutes or 6 minutes. I am not taking scalp, so I'm primarily focusing on NASDAQ on a higher time frame. The 15 minutes is closed. Hmm. First 15 minutes is closed. If you mark this overall range, this same default colors, this point, it's a mess today, complete. So everything which I'm looking for as for now is contained within this 15 minutes. 14 minutes till the news comes out. This is interesting. Check this out. See this point. It closed below. Look at it on the 4 hours. Closed above, closed below, closed above. But everything is contained within this 6 o'clock candle on a 4 hours. So in the 4 hours time frame, everything is still valid, still valid towards the upside. It can wick through, but not close, ideally speaking. Okay, so as if it's contained within this overall 4 hours candle, but it's doing some sort of this behavior, closed above, closed below. So on a smaller time frame, it's what it is likely to be a chop and a range. So in the smaller time frames, below 4 hours, it's gonna closed above, closed below, closed above, closed below. So a range is generally expected. Hmm. See, Mario, check this out, yeah? Close, 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 close. Wick closed above the wick specifically. Closed above the 15 minutes, closed above, closed above, closed above. Okay. Then it started this sort of a behavior. There are two modes of market generally. Closed above, closed above, closed below, closed above, closed below, closed above, closed below. Closed below, then it's gonna make sure it's going to close above, then it's gonna make sure then it's closed below. In it of itself, it's a if you primarily focus on this, this is complete system. It's a complete system. And this is, in a sense, this is bare bones of the market. On a 5 minutes is closed down, closed above. 15 minutes, closed below, closed above. So it this cancer has reached till 4 hours. Okay. But every other candle after six is an inside candle. So there are a lot of times which you should be able to get off your chart. People say, okay, you should have patience. No, bro, you lack a system. You lack a filter. If you understand that, okay, it's doing some this sort of a behavior, just don't expect anything major to happen. Don't expect. Okay. For example, if I'm looking at the 4 hours time frame, uh, uh, at least that's going to range for 5 or 6 candles. That's the minimum. Okay, statistically speaking, if it's a range on a 4 hours, it's a five, 6 candles minimum. Okay, so 5, 6 candles multiplied by 4 hours. So that period of time, it's going to be a range. If you are generally scalping, it's not a problem for you. But if you are trying to aim for a target on a higher time frame, then it's gonna mess up you everything. Okay. As leaving this candles wickless candle. So generally, a wickless candle is an indication of a range. Uh, Closing above, closing below is an indication of a range. We have 9 minutes till the news is out. So this candle, 951 candle and 43 candle, both are an indication that's going to come back. If I wanted to take a scalp, I could have easily. Like this point was the point I said, okay, I should use this as support. So I'm not interested. 'Okay, let's see. They say focus on Bitcoin now until the news comes out. 208, 185, 208, 208, and 85. As of now, if we stay below this point, I'm not interested in taking a long. This is area which is going to support price, but first the news should come out. 21,499. Okay, 15 minutes. 21,499 to the high of this point. News is out. Nice. Ah, guys, if you're commenting, I cannot read your comment. Just give me 1 minute or two. Uh, then we'll see. This 15 minutes is imbalance. Keep this in mind. This is in future is going to it is going to complement the bias we have or the narrative we have. Okay. 519.17. 519.17. 519.17. 5 520.69. 520. Wait a minute. Be patient. Don't don't jump in. It's a news law. We haven't even closed 5 minutes in the news. 45. We are within the previous day opening range gap. Bro, really, this is so nice. The 15 minutes, the hourly candle is imbalanced. Okay, this is going to complement the whole shit. The news, first thing which is really important, this is the news highs. Second thing, it's imbalanced. So, oh, oh boy, you cannot see my screen, right? Wait. Like 19.71 would be much better. 71. I'm going to see how the price will react to 519.71. And the lower portion of this fair value gap, the overall range of this is basically 45 points. So VIX is at 17, approximately at 16.84. Hmm. Lower portion is important, really important. Be, being specific till this point. Till this point, and on the cues, basically the same thing, right? So overall fair value gap. Hold. You can't just jump in at 19. It can this easily can mess around from this point. This is a reference point. So easy, easy, easy. I need some sort of a good validation around this point. First 10 minutes is closed after the news. Remind this is a new slow, so take some time around to stabilize. $391. New 15 minutes candle. Really close to TRM. gonna gyrate around this point. Let it stabilize, then it's not showing any sign of strength here. So if it does, I'll execute. Oh, come on. Oh, no, 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 no. Why are you like this? From this point, it can give an extremely good risk to reward ratio. Keep this in mind. Nah, bro. Should not get rejected at 520, ideally speaking. यार ये अपनी माँ पीछे छोड़ के जा रहा है यार 1021 is imbalanced. That's not a good sign. Leaving another. Okay, balance. You need to leave. Leave, bro, leave. Hmm. Mario, it should, okay? In an ideal world, if we were living in heaven, this should leave immediately. That would be the ideal case. The worst case would be it gonna gyrate around and it's gonna mess up, then leave. Okay, one thing is for sure, it's gonna leave. But either it's gonna leave now or it's gonna just mess up with everyone, then leave. So even a tick below this point, I am not interested. Just keep this in mind. It can give you an extremely good risk reward ratio. It can give me, not you. I'm not telling you to do anything. Just keep this in mind. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. This should leave immediately. Leave, bro. Leave and never come back. Never come back. That would be the perfect world, ideal world in which prayers and hopes do come true. Okay. It should leave and take out the highs, major highs. That would be the ideal case scenario. Okay, I'm not telling you to do anything. Generally speaking, this is what I'm thinking. This from the start of the stream. That was my initial area for interest, looking at where I would be buying it, then aiming for 706 at minimum, then at basically how many points till, generally speaking, it may not happen now. Okay, I'm being very cautious with you. Please do not get FOMO, but this is what I do when I swing trade. So the minimum would be 134 points. The medium would be 300 points, and max would be 440 points. But let's see. Uh, Bro, Moise, don't worry about VIX. I'll push it down. If that works, I'll try to push it. VIX below 1686 is relatively safe. VIX below 1640 is nice. So leave. You need to leave. Haha. Yes. Bro, really, really, really nice. If this works out. Okay. This is going to be the same trade as I did on Bitcoin. If this works out. Okay. It takes me 2 or 3 tries usually, but we'll see. Hmm. If we move to this point and use Above this point, then it's relatively safe. Relatively safe. I think it's going to. We have 2 minutes till the first hour is going to close. If it revisits again, then I'll see. 哦 I've gotten a confirmation of 5 minutes. But we'll see. It's not gonna make it easy for any of us. 43 was what 21 is imbalanced and 19 is imbalanced. It's gonna revisit this place again. Probably 21 is imbalanced, 19 is imbalanced. The first hour is closed. Let's test the waters again. 21. 21 is below this level, basically. It's gonna retest this point again, probably. 'If it stays below this point, even a tick below, I'm not interested. I'm just letting you know this. So generally, yeah, below this point, no, nothing. I'm not interested. If it stays below this point, I have to wait another 1 hour, at least an hour, to see if it regains this territory. If it stays below this point, then narrative will have to take a pause. Hmm. Initial reaction was initial reaction was about 76 points. 70 points, yeah. It should not stay below this point. If it does, then it's changing the whole narrative, which is somewhat problematic. Problematic. within an hour, basically. Yes, within an hour, if it stays below this point, then I would have to wait for some time to take the swing trade, because the swing trade presents a point where I have to like open or stay in the trade for 5 or 6 days. So it takes that long enough, obviously, to adjust. I think BTC is also crashing. BTC is still below this point, move to and through this point. So this is volatility index above our area. That was the last line of defense. Keep this in mind. This was the last line of defense, which is 19.71. Volatility index is aiming towards 17 then. This was the gold's criteria. This is I'm live on through my phone, so this is gold criteria. It just missed out on tick or two. It's Bitcoin. Oh, that's still have an hour. So everything is still valid. If we move above 19 and use this as support and then further move back up, that's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be a problem. But if we stay here for long enough, we sure do have a problem. Hmm. I'm waiting for the market to stabilize. Once it moves above 15.19, then I'll try to execute a swing trade. Okay. If you stay here for another hour, then the narrative is going to be shifted, swings towards the downside, but we'll have to wait for some time. Okay. This is the last line of defense for the bulls. From this was the point I was expecting the market to give me some sort of a swing trade. We basically tried, like it reached this point, moved up above like 70 points, giving me 70 points, but failed. So, okay, I'll try to stop it. Okay, 71. Let's just say 71. I'll try to stop this. Let's see. Because as if we are below this point, this was the last line of defense for the Bulls. If we stay below this point and keep falling, like, so we have a problem then. Even a tick below this point, 19.71, I'm not interested in taking a long or swing longs. Okay. So keep this in mind. This is not good. This is not good. Hmm. It's allowed to move back down, but not allowed to close on basically an hourly time frame. Hourly time frame, like just next 1 hour. It should not stay below 519. If it does stay below 519, then it's telling me something else is happening. So मुझे जो है ना अपना नैरेटिव चेंज करना चाहिए. Okay. This one is imbalanced. Okay. This is the point where the year opened. We have an imbalance at this point, Friday, 3rd January. If it keeps falling, then obviously this becomes relevant, but mhm, that's not what I want. Anyways, if this fails, we will have a swing trade short for within a day or two. So no worries. आज तो yeah, BTC is like BTC came back 4,000 points, came back to below where we basically bought yesterday. Okay, so this one is imbalanced and this one is imbalanced. So it's an indication of see this point on a weekly closed above. So the first condition would be a ranging market. The next priority would be a downtrend. Before a downtrend, it tops around between this point. But still, I was not aiming for more than a 400 points move. So Not too much to ask. It's just not respecting anything, so I don't know. Let's just wait for an hour. If it stabilizes again, then an hour in the queues. Well, this is the lower part. Alright. VIX is rising. VIX is at 17.56. It's Tuesday. Monday. We are below the weekly low. It's not even reacting to these levels, which it is supposed to, like usually it does. The VIX is at level which is usually an indication of not a good market. That's I can say at this point. So the obvious next level would be this point, the start of the year, 21,400. But uh, this was a clean trade. Still is. We have an hour or 2 hours left, right? But the way it is moving, it's an indication of a really strong downtrend. So we really tried. like from this point, the volatility index, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. This is at this point which usually initiates some sort of a downtrend. And if we move above this point, then it can lead to a long-term downtrend. And this was the safe point. We were trending because we were below 16.34 or 16.85. Bitcoin just went through everything. Still, just so you know, this point is relevant, still relevant. Even no matter how big the crash, 95,495 or 91,135. These are the two levels which will probably support price. Probably support price. If we move below 91,135, then not good, bad, bad. How much time do we have till the 4 hours close? The 4 hours will close in 3 hours. Even the 4 hours is imbalanced. It's like, see this point, remove drawings. Yeah, see this is imbalanced. So it is an indication that's going to come back at above this point soon, at some point in future. So it is telling me that it's going to come back. So how will I frame a good risk to reward ratio? It's coming back, right? To frame a good risk to reward ratio, the best criteria I can present on the cues is that level, this level. S- Yeah, 519.71. If you move above this point, generally speaking, it's a very good indication, a good omen. As you can say. And it can give you an extremely good risk to reward ratio, like 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 at minimum. Because the whole criteria of this point is even a tick below, like I'm not interested in taking in a trade. Okay. Above this point, using this as a floor for my stop loss placement and expecting major highs, like major highs to break this high, major highs. But first, it needs to prove or give me a validation, good as validation. This is a filter basically. If we use this as support, then we are relatively safe, but I'm not executing. If you use this as support, good, no execution. If we use this as support, bam, like, but we still have a validity time frame. If it basically stays here for in 2 hours, let's just say, or the 4 hours closing, okay, then no trade, no case, no trade. Guys, please, this is what I am doing. Okay, I'm not telling you to do anything. Okay, so do your own due diligence. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute, bro. Bro, I'm just telling you that you basically it's not easy for you to execute here. Okay, I take a lot of paper cuts around this point, but generally the risk to reward like take cares of everything. So be very careful. I'm not telling you to do anything. Very, very careful. Use this as support. Leave no imbalances. Move further up towards 374. Then I can make a case. Below this point, I'm not interested. Below this point, it becomes a no man's land or a transitioning phase. So, no case. 402. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Come on. Okay. Generally, just so you know, I'm trying to pick a bottom. Okay. I'm trying to pick a bottom and it's not easy picking a bottom on the NASDAQ specifically. I can do it on BTC every day. No problem there. But it's difficult on US 100 sometimes. So for example, it's gonna be difficult 30% of the time. But when it's difficult, it's really difficult. So keep this in mind. But overall, risk to reward ratio takes care of everything because these are the trades in which I can basically lose 100. Generally speaking, 100 trades and a single trade would do everything for me. 100 is over exaggeration. Basically, you can say it can lose about 30 trades. Let's say 60. Why not? The only thing I'm gonna ask for to with like from the market is please do not leave an imbalance. Like if it leaves an imbalance, then it's not good. Still good that it's telling me it's generous. It's telling me that I'm gonna come back, but if it leaves an imbalance, then not good for the whole narrative. Good for taking out, like getting out and having a reason why it's gonna come back, but still I'm not gonna get paid, right? What's the point? But I'm not gonna lose either. So 2 minutes till 11 o'clock. Don't get rejected. The least you can do. New hour 11 o'clock. Not get rejected. Don't leave an imbalance. Yeah, I have about, let's just wait for about it moving up again. Ideally within the next 20 minutes. Okay. $360 is key. $360 on US 100. Not giving me any closing. Hmm. ठीक है तो खुल गया. This is the point. Basically, the opening of the fair value gap on the 4 hours. This fair value gap. Now this becomes really relevant. Really relevant. So what I'm generally looking at is till 11:30. The price should be above this point. Ideally, if it does not stay above this point, then I would have to wait for some period of time. It would become a no man's land. So if this works out, it's going to give me an extremely good risk to reward ratio, but it never makes it easy, basically. Generally, this the system I'm using as a TRM right now, basically is referred as to the system which is going to give me a basically good risk to reward ratio. If I get a trade, I'm gonna just put my stop loss right above this point, aiming for like this high, major high, which is going to be 400 points. If it stays below this point, then the narrative will shift, and I will not expect some sort of swing trade for some period of time. We have about 20 minutes left. Only thing I'm asking from the market is to not leave an imbalance beneath it when it starts to move. That's the only thing I'm asking from the market. Because if it leaves an imbalance, it's telling me that it's going to come back. So you should not hold trade. That is basically what the essence of it's going to tell me. It's trying its best. In the 5 minutes, we have a confirmation. On 15 minutes, 15 minutes would be validated if we move above 396. Guys, keep this in mind. It can easily chop you up. So be very careful executing on, like, basically it's picking the bottom, right? So market never makes it easy. Pick a bottom. Specifically NASDAQ. Like Bitcoin doesn't really care much. We have a validation on 5 minutes, a validation on 1 minute. We have 20 minutes left. If we stay below or like far below this point within the next 20 minutes, then the narrative will be in a no man's land. Then I'm not allowed to touch it. Okay. So once it moves above this point, I have, like, these are the things I have to do. There are certain rules to this system. Even if it chops me out, no problem, because I'm using this specific area. You can say this 374 to what, 364 10 points as a stop loss placement point, aiming for 400 to 300 points at minimum. So tried hard to close above. We never gave a closing above. This was a single point. The moment we closed below this point, failed again, failed, and we are moving back down. Okay, I can see that, but doesn't pay that much, right? So these are the swing trades, which comes basically about, let's say, one in a 15 to 20 days. Okay. Hmm? This is something. Last 15 minutes. This is what's holding price. The dollar index is rising. VIX is coming back up again. And, and you see this 19th one is in balance. Come on, dude. Once we regain this territory, the next problem would be to move above this fair value gap. So we're gonna climb one stair at a time. If we move above within the next 10 minutes, we move above within the next 10 minutes. Hmm. 5 minutes trend is still intact, so but you have to prove to me, right? NASDAQ has to prove for it needs 1 minute is intact, 5 minutes intact. But the criteria is only valid for about next 20 minutes or so. This motherfucker. When the medicine becomes poison, right? Now it's gonna probably gonna go down really fast. If it really needs to go down, it's gonna go down. But I'm only allowed to buy this. Okay. This can use this as a complete top and just crash, but I don't want that. Nor will I trade it. About 10 minutes. 10 minutes left. BTC is back to Sunday's low basically, right? Hmm. Not bad, not bad. Don't leave an imbalance. You should should not leave an imbalance. Okay, 260 is important. Generally speaking, 260 is important, but overall, this whole range is important. It's not a big range. Okay, it's just a 19 points range, but ideally, it should not leave an imbalance, specifically for the 5 minutes. So, leaving an imbalance would indicate it coming back. Balanced now. यार ये क्या भैंस चो इसकी तो यार not get rejected again. This 19 points range is a big problem. See 60. This 60. Ideally, it should move above 60. I'm just बाल की खाल निकाल रहा हूँ लेकिन it should stay above 60. Okay. This 19 points range should sustain price, ideally speaking. Come on, bro. Okay. The price not, should not move below this point at any point. Now, speed. Please, I'm just, whether I'm pleasing NASDAQ, but please, NASDAQ, just move above 521. Move above 521, the bears will lose in their case completely. Minute left. ध्यान से दुआ पे करो. 60. If we move below 60 again within like a minute or two, like बात खत्म. खलास. 60 should ideally support price. Ideally speaking, bro. Now it's allowed to move down. No problem. It's 11:30. Even if it moves below this point, the trend would be still valid. No problem. We are testing the lows of this new opening candle. That's normal because we are entering the higher time frame extreme. So as 11:30, the second hour of the trading opened, right? So we have taken the low. Gonna take two or three tries. This one is again imbalanced. 29 is imbalanced. Paper cut, paper cut, paper cut. Now, as of now, the criteria is still valid for the bulls rather than bear. So I'm just waiting for another, basically, right? Let's just say 3 4 hours. If it moves above this point, then I have to execute on this one. You don't have to. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Just please. Okay. We have taken the low of the basically the new hour open. Then we are gonna shoot back up, probably. Generally, as a place of reference, this is what I'm looking as a bottom. Okay. Sometimes it's tick precise, sometimes it chops up like this. So 60. We are going to come back above 60, that's for sure. But you know, because that's the high of the new hour on the regular trading hours. Okay, Mario, take care, brother. Guys, if you're new to the channel, um, just what can I say? Just like the stream. Even a single tick below this 519.62, I'm not interested in taking a long. I'm not interested to even touch it. Okay. So basically, what how would I execute on this is once it closes above or moves above, basically give me a strong indication that it's strong. I'm gonna execute placing like my stop loss just below this point. So, but the whole idea of this specific trade, I can take scalps all day long. Okay, I can take scalps. That's not a problem. But these are the trades which have a really, really, really strong probability of it panning out. First case. Second case is I can put a huge lot on these trades. The third thing is I can let this trade go. Okay, it's a bottom for 2 or 3 days. So using the TRM as a top. This is the whole case for the bears. Okay, everything you can think for the case of bears is contained within this last swing out. But I'm not with the bears as per now. 92, 92, yeah, 92, 93. So this whole area basically above the 50% of this 4 hours fair value gap is the point I'm basically looking for. If we move above the CE of the 4 hours fair value gap, then bulls are generally safe. But as we are below this point, I'm not allowed to take any sort of a long nor shorts. It's a no man's land below this point for let's say the next 3 hours. The TRM is used as a the TRM in the 360 point would be used as a swing trading bottom. Okay. I'm using this specific TRM point. Wrong timing, bad timings. Okay. Price should not get rejected from this point, 260 point, and move above. Ideally speaking, it should close above and move above this point. Then I'm all interested. 260. This piece of shit. See how we are gyrating around. 260 is getting rejected, rejected, rejected again and again and again. Yeah, I'm not even focusing on the comment section. See, see how frustrating it gets sometimes. Sometimes. And sometimes it's really, really good. So picking tops and bottoms is obviously a thing not easy. Because देखो, it's not normal human thinking. It's gonna frustrate the fuck out of you. So it's mostly stats and being objective, right? See how many times exact point. I know the exact coordinates from where it's getting rejected, but I'm on the other side, right? Whenever it comes to this point, it wicks above like 260. Check this out. This is really check this out. How many times it got rejected from 260? But I'm not interested in taking a fucking scalp, right? I'm not. If I were to take a scalp, I would have taken one to one, one to one. But that's not how I trade. I'm primarily focusing on large risk to reward trades, holding these trades for long enough. So whenever the price comes to these areas of interest, I have to execute. Sometimes the execution efficiency is extremely good. Sometimes it's choppy like this. So It's getting rejected again. But still, as we were uh, like as the first hour was closed, the second was about to close. I said, "Care, we should close above." Like, check this out, bro. You see this point, boys? If you want to see some sort of a clarity, check this out. We are never giving closing above on the even on the hourly time frame at the TRM level. But it's just gonna chop the fuck out of everyone, make a low, then after some time break that low and make another low. Then it's gonna do that again and again. Then it's gonna make a fucking bottom. So Mhm. It's gonna take some time, right? If it gives me a strong first of all, it should not close below this level. Second thing would be if it moves above this point. This black box is basically 522.69 to like 520.42. Is the last line of defense for the bears, right? If we move above this point, we are relatively safe. And same goes with the 50% of the this 50% of the fair value gap. If we move above this point, then we are relatively safe. But one thing that you have to keep this in mind that this chop can continue for some time. Okay. Why? Because we have FOMC this week, and probably it's tomorrow. So we have to be cognizant of that also. FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow. So is it going to like we have to think in terms of the future, right? Is it going to make a bottom today or tomorrow? Or if this is the bottom, for example, let's just say if this is the bottom at the FOMC, is this not going to get retested? Probably there's a high probability it will be retested. Okay. So even if I get succeeded in taking this trade, I would have to exit somewhere around it. The second case scenario would be if the price moves above this point and then FOMC it moves further up. That would be like really awesome. Here it goes again. Anyways, US oil. मुझे तुम भी ट्रेड कर रहे हो क्या? ये नैस्डैक या यूएस ऑयल पे ही लगे हुए हो? This was the criteria, right? Like pretty good, yeah. Look at the drawings I made. We were here yesterday, right? Yeah. This was the drawing I made. Like, this was the box when the price was here. So, see, for example, if you were to execute on this specific, somehow you were to execute on this trade, you were bought around here, it came back. It came back. Then it came back. Even when the price, this was the price, right? This was the price from where it was supposed to bounce. It never makes this easy. Even if you know the direction, the price never makes it easy for anyone to execute. Because, for example, if it has given me a bottom at 11:35, but the original bottom is somewhere around here, but the price is never offered there at this point. It's going to come after some time in future. So this is the lowest the price has been offered till now. So obviously I would execute. How can I not execute if I'm expecting something as a bottom and this is the lowest the price has ever been? Okay. It's gonna make something, then after some time come back again. Like this. Okay. So as a general narrative, I'm looking at this 260 from 260 to 274. Let's just say 274 was the best case I had for the Bulls and the last line of defense for the Bulls. Okay. So even a tick below, I have taken three paper cuts. Okay. This was the point I executed here. Okay. Stop loss right below this point. Okay. And this was the first time we came. No, 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 no. This was the first time. It gave me around 70 points, not on the Qs. This was the Qs specifically. The first time we moved above this point gave me around 70 points. My stop loss was at break even, but we came back. Because I cannot take even partials if I'm expecting 400 points move. How can I get out on 70 points? Okay. That's not the system I'm using. That's a completely different system for scalping. I'm not scalping. Okay. So we came back. Then this was the point I took a loss again here. Here. Because my loss would be really tight, really tight, like right below this point. Like tick below, I'm not interested. Okay, so now the price is using that as a top, and it can go further down towards this 21,169. Yeah, sure, but I'm not allowed to do anything since I'm considering this as a no man's land. How long will it take for the no man's land to change? If we stay below, it will take around 4 hours. It should take around 4 hours. If we stay below TRM, the abbreviation for the real market, right? Just the real market, right? If we stay below this point, then I can make a good ass case for the bears. Then I'm allowed to execute on this as a swing trade. Okay. But I'm not allowed to do anything as long as we are within this next. The whole day. Let's just say the whole day because we have an FOMC tomorrow. So we have came back down a long, like for example, we have came back 300 points. Okay. To come 300 points, let it just take its breath, then settle down. Then if we move above this point at some point, then the trend or the trade is valid. Otherwise, it's not valid. Otherwise, we can just so I would have to wait for some time. Okay. BTC is okay. Let's just take a look at BTC. Okay. Well, 97,582, 97,582, 97,582, 82, less, and 875, 96,870, 96, 800. Let's just plot it to 60. Okay. So keep this on your chart. Keep this on your chart. BTC, this is a reference point for the Bitcoin, the same reference point as this was. Think we have this was. You see this point. So you remember this was the long-term bottom I predicted. I said, yeah, this is 58,000 is the weekly bottom. So after that, this was the next criteria on March and October presented live. So the same goes again with which the narrative I presented on 27th of December. These were the two lines, these two specific lines. At this point, we were targeting this point. When we reached here, I was trying to buy this. Then we had the yesterday's trade. Like, NASDAQ is way below this, like, so I'm not interested. Okay, so this is imbalanced. 11:50 is imbalanced. Okay, 10 o'clock is imbalanced. Can you even imagine? 4 o'clock, 4 hours time frame is imbalanced. So it's gonna come back at this point at some point. I don't know how long will it take. Okay, the only thing I should predict. I can predict a lot of things, but that would be naive, right? The only thing I am looking for is the price to stay above this point within the next 3 or 4 hours. If it does that, then I'm gonna execute. Putting my stop loss like just below this point. Once the price move above this point, I'm gonna put my stop loss at break even, wait for 5 or 6 days. That's the basic, what do you say, SOP, central operating procedure for this specific system. Okay, if we lose this ground, I'm not okay. Generally, I'm not allowed to short Bitcoin, nor should you short Bitcoin. If we lose this, this would be the area of interest 95,400. 95,400 would be the, yeah, 96,200. Okay. Okay, let's just remove this, update everything. Let's just update everything. 96,220, 96,200. If we lose that, which we probably won't, like 92,760, 92,760, 92. ये तो अपनी मर्जी से आएगा. Now that is being used as a top. But still, no man's land, so I cannot trade. I can take a scalp, one or two scalps, but scalping on NASDAQ is not good. Scalping on Bitcoin is extremely, extremely good. 65, 65, 765. Yep. वहां में चला गया. 92,766, 66. Okay. Yeah, these are those reference point. Just plot it on your chart. Forget about it. Okay. Once the price reaches this point, these are the reference point as the market will probably gyrate around this point and then move further back up if it wants to move up. Okay, this would be used as a bottom. If it is a downtrend, you'll see that the price will not even recognize this point. So it will never even give you an opportunity to execute. Highly likely. 12 o'clock, new hour open. Okay. If you have these coordinates, just take a screenshot of these coordinates or 96,220, 96,760. Okay, so see this dollar index. This was the narrative for yesterday's presented this narrative. I said, care dollar will probably use this as support, which is it is doing. So as usually, generally, the dollar and the NASDAQ are not correlated. They are indirectly correlated, opposite correlation. But sometimes, okay, let's just say 40% of time they're trending together. So I prefer not to tie the dollar with the NASDAQ because it can give you a very distorted sense of the market. Still, So I'm waiting for the Qs or the NASDAQ to move above this point. If it does not move above this point, then but still try not to go do anything here. It's not the ideal. Try not to trade the chop and no man's land. Wait a minute, I have to do some. We have some time left, about an hour, let's just say. An hour till validation. The next 2 hours, basically completely 3 hours for about, as you say, no man's land to end. 15 minutes. I was hoping that we would break the 15 minutes here, but it stayed intact, and it's still intact. Volatility index at 17.50. One thing is for sure, we are going to come back at this point. Today's high, 10 o'clock high. But today, I don't think so. Tomorrow, probably, probably because of the FOMC. So that was the only valid criteria I had, and I did execute it on this, so did not work out as I planned. You still have about, let's say, 4 hours. Open on the cues. Hey, what are you looking for now in NASDAQ? Probably you have to shift on BTC. Yeah, even on BTC, the move, I was basically, BTC is far below where I'm supposed to sell this, right? And the VIX is already high. I can make a good case for BTC, but not now. So no touching on BTC. I'm not touching BTC, nor am I touching NASDAQ for some time. Okay, 70, BTC, okay, 641, 98, 641, 277, 641, 98, 641, 278. 96,300. Mm. We have about on the QQQs, the narrative is hopefully the narrative is still intact, but we need some like time. We need some around, let's say, the day close. If we close the day below this point, generally, so obviously, then the case for the Bears is more than the Bulls. But as of now, I'm not allowed to do anything. We have about let's an hour left. If we stay below 519 or 360 on the QQQs or US 100 for the next hour, then I can make a case, good case for the Bears. So an hour will give the validation, the day close will just nail it. Same goes with the volatility index. The volatility index, the longer it stays above 16.89 to 16.43, the higher the chances that we are transitioning into a long-term downtrend. It's a it's a very big thing. As I was expecting this price 274 to hold and use this as a bottom, but instead it's using that as a top. Okay. So as of now, it's in a no man's land. I'm not allowed to do anything. But still, these are the points which are extreme points. So as they are extreme points, I usually expect a larger risk to reward from these areas if I get a trade from this. Hmm. तो अगर हम लोग डॉलर इंडेक्स को देखें ना, डॉलर इंडेक्स is still strong and it will be strong. So main reason जो हमारा chop का है, the main reason we are chopping is because of the dollar index and the VIX. So, what is more likely to happen if, let's just say, let's just make a case, okay? If we close the day below the level which I'm expecting price to stay above or use as support, one thing is for sure, we are going to come back up at this point, 521 within this week, generally within this week or the next week. This is for sure. So, within the next week, so if we close the day here, then I'll be looking for the tomorrow next FOMC. Basically, we have FOMC. In FOMC, we'll probably get this trade again. So, no case for bears as long as I can see. Because if I make a case for the bears, we have a big problem above this point. So, just in general, I cannot swing trade because the price will revisit this point, that is 827 at some point in future. That is 100% sure. Okay. The next point is going to revisit at some point in future is going to be 706. We have another problem towards the downside, which is between this point 21,000. Basically, just you can use these two lines, the white lines, 21,041 or 21,008. It's a very tight range. So the price will revisit these three levels, okay, within the next week, this week completion and the next week. Okay. So I have all of this data now. I have all of these indications that price will reach. So what can I generally, as far as the data is concerned, as like the data I have now till this time, like 7 January 12:31, I can assume all of these things. So while I'm assuming all of these things, what can I do? Can I take a swing trade? Yes, only if we come above this point within an hour, expecting the price to reach up to this point, which is going to be like 400 or 400 minute points, 400 points. If we stay below this point, then I can make a case for bears. But we tomorrow have FOMC, no swing trade in general. The only swing trade valid is for the bulls. But we have a invalidation criteria within the next 2 hours. Bitcoin historical volatility index. चल बॉयज, मैं चलता हूँ। मेरे ख्याल से ये आज नहीं देगा, तो कल एफओएमसी है, कल देखते हैं। ओके बॉय।